Hey folks, welcome back. Today we are doing our game review of BRAID, and this is the anniversary edition, as you can tell. And if you remember, last Friday we played this for the first time, and it was super fun, and I was really impressed with it. And I've now sat with it for a week and officially have beat the game, which was cool. And so I wanted to kind of talk you through some things, my experience, and kind of like we give it a grade in the end. We're going to go through some different categories and talk about it, and then we're going to give it a grade, just so maybe if you're thinking about picking it up or if you've played it before. I'm curious if my opinion matches yours. So let's get into it. Again, if you don't know me, my name's Enrique Suave. I've played all sorts of games since the 80s, and I mean, I just love everything. And this was one of those games that I knew was popular, and I just missed it. I think it came out about 20 years ago or 15 years ago. Today we are doing the upgraded anniversary edition, as you can see. So the graphics have been, they're like high definition compared to the original graphics. But apparently all the gameplay is the same. All the puzzles, they're all the same and so forth. So if you don't know BRAID, it is basically a platformer, but it's super puzzly. Like you're trying to figure out one lever that's going to touch another lever and do this. And the hook of BRAID is that you can rewind time. You can do something, and if you don't like the way you did it, you rewind it, do it again. And I won't give everything away, but there's just a lot of ways you can manipulate that. And it's super interesting. I was really impressed last week. I really enjoyed the first 3 hours of playing this game. So let me show you the template. Let's bring that up, and then we will get into it. Again, that's how we score everything here. 1 through 3 or 0 through 3 really. And then at the bottom, it's going to go into some sort of category, whether that be a gray item that you're going to, vendor at the next town, or if this is legendary and this is something you're going to want to keep and play for a long time to come. So, okay, first category, art style. So there is so much to say here about the art style, and keeping in mind that art is not only graphics, it's the design, it's the music, right, of it. This game is phenomenal. Let me just play a clip real quick. Here, I got it I'll set it up here. Let me get the volume going. This one. Just listen. And then when I beat this part, listen to these horns that come in. You can see how intense I am right now trying to figure out this puzzle. I'm like, what do I do? And see, watch. I can just reverse time. And you have to figure out, you have a shadow that can keep going, and so you have to figure out what's the right thing to do. And I just loved everything about this. The colors are vibrant, they're neat, and I'm going to zip through this video just for you can see. There's tons of different styles. This is like a dungeon style. Again, like outdoor green area. Much more stone, and this is where I'm slowing down time. A little more ethereal feeling. You got clouds and you got white statues and things. Again, that bubble's like a time stop, so you're trying to figure out how you can manipulate time and so forth. And so anyways, a lot of cool artwork here. Let me just put it back to something.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh, that's when I got it.
That was very cool.
I was so excited.
Super satisfying.
Yep. Super satisfying. I got that one figured out. Okay. All right, let's meet it. All right, so that's basically what BRAID is, and here's how I came up with my score. I started with Legendary because that's the vibe that I got. I love this because it's a unique art style. This kind of thing, forever, if anyone sees the art like this, they're going to know it's BRAID. And I like that when games kind of can do that to you. They kind of imprint their feel and their vibe and everything to you. I kept thinking of like, this can't be Legendary, right? This is kind of too simple of a game. I learned it was made by one person, which makes it more impressive, but I didn't want that to influence the grading. And I kept thinking to myself, well, what could they have done better? Or he or she could have done better, the one person that made this game. And I couldn't come up with anything. I kept thinking colors, design, and I was really stretching at times. And so I, in fact, did decide to give this a legendary grade. I think it's very deserving. I think it's really cool. And the art, category here is one of my favorites because I'm really critical about it. You can have a cool graphics, but if your sound sucks, it doesn't feel immersive enough or whatever, right? Oh, let me turn that little thing off. So art is getting legendary score. I just could not, every time I brought it down, it just didn't feel right. We are going with legendary. Now, fun factor, again, what is this game? It's really puzzles. And I love puzzles, first of all. So I had a lot of fun. I could see some folks being like, it wasn't my cup of tea, or this isn't my thing. Because it's not like a platformer where you're like going fast, or even like a Mario platformer kind of deal. It's a platformer, but you're figuring out a puzzle within that, right? So I kind of struggled with this one. This might be the one I struggled with the most, is how fun is this? And here's what I came down to. I think when you're solving the puzzles, it is super fun. Okay. But what happens is if you can't figure out the puzzle and you're just sitting there stuck and like your mind is not coming to it, guess what happens? You suddenly just stop playing because it's not fun anymore. And I ran into this a couple times where your mind just doesn't figure it out right away, which of course, we live in that world where we want everything instant. And so I found myself not having fun because I was like, screw this, or whatever. So I decided, here's how I decided to grade this. The fun factor, I came down to an epic score. I think it is fun. I think it's a great puzzler. I think where it cannot get a legendary score for sure is the moment you get a hit, like you hit a wall, unless you have an epiphany, like you can't move past it. And that just suddenly becomes not fun. So for when you're playing and you're progressing, super fun. The moment you're not, ugh. And that's a really hard, double-edged sword kind of way to, how do you walk the line on that, I think what it is it comes back to then replayability. While this is a puzzler that you can play over and over until you beat it, and what's cool is you can rewind it to literally replay the same moment, because if you don't like it, you rewind it and do it again and do it again and do it again. If your mind or you can't, if it's not coming to you how this puzzle is going to be fixed, it's dead. Like you don't want to play it anymore. So I played this week, and there was a 2-day hiatus where I would start the game up and I'm just sitting here going like, I can't figure this out. And I mess around for 20 minutes and I'm like, I'm putting it down. Like I'm frustrated. I don't want to do this anymore. So, and I'm not saying that games have to be easy, but at the same time, this game gives you no hints. It gives you no possible instruction. And then you really have to decide, am I willing to check the internet? And sometimes you don't want to do that. Sometimes you want to be the one that figures it all out. And so I struggle with this. The fun and the replayability, I really struggle with grading. Replayability, though, I actually find that it's probably only a 1. It's cool to replay the levels and to figure them out, but the moment you figure them out, their last week's news, that doesn't matter anymore. And then if you can't figure out the current puzzle, there's nothing else to do. You know what I mean? There's just nothing. And so I just don't feel there's a lot of replayability here. Also, I do feel like once you figure it out, then you probably set this down and you might never play this game again, kind of deal. One thing I did learn after playing this is that there are some like extra super hard things to find, like these stars on every level. And if you wanted to challenge yourself to find those, I guess, but they're not super obvious and they are super hard. And so I'm just not sure most people would want to stick out and try to find these or figure these out on their own. The moment you look them up on the internet, then you're like, okay, well, it's not easy or it's not interesting anymore, right? So if there was something I could change about this, I wish somehow if you weren't getting something, maybe after so many tries or so many attempts or something, it could give you some hints of like, think of it this way, or think about using the time thing this way, or think about using the reverse thing that way. I don't know. I don't know what the solution is, but replayability, I'm going to give it a 1 because you can go back and keep trying the same ones over and over until you beat it. But the moment you hit a wall, it's like it's over. I actually, with that 2-day hiatus that I took because I just couldn't get anywhere, I had to ask myself, right? Do I want to beat the game so I can see the end of the story, or do I want to stick to I have to be the one that figures it all out? And I decided to just beat the game so I could see the story. And so I did look it up online and look up tips and tricks or whatever. And I feel good with that because the story is cool. The story is really interesting. And, I don't have to be the one that beat it or whatever. So anyways, and then lastly, value. Okay. Value is my calculation I use is for the amount of money I spend, am I getting, for every dollar I spend, do I get an hour of fun? And then if I get double that, great. If I get triple that, oh man, that's cool. If I get quadruple that, that's like legendary. That's kind of how my thought is. I picked this up for $3.99 on sale. And so let's call that $4. And I have just about 6.5 hours into the game where I feel content. And that puts me at good, but not great. Because again, I don't think I'm going to play this game again, honestly. Maybe someday I'll be like, oh, maybe I'll go back and try to figure out those star levels or something, but I'm not sure why. So I graded this the value as a 1. What I would say is its normal price is $20 on the Steam store, and that does not feel like the right amount of value to me. That would be a 0 if I had to pay $20 for this. But $4, buy it on sale. Give it a whirl, do some puzzles, figure it out, and you'll be good from there. So, okay, that means, the score, it does get into the epic category just barely. And I kind of feel that's probably appropriate. While this isn't like, the best game ever, it stands on its own as a really unique experience. And then as a side note, to think that one person, right, developed this and made it just blows my mind. Really cool experience. Again, probably only a month of your life if you want to devote that long and not look at the internet. If you look at the internet, I mean, this is done in a couple days if you really wanted to do that. Also, achievement-wise, there's 13 achievements, and after 1 week, I had 11. So, and again, I looked at the internet for a couple things, so let's call it, maybe I'd have 9 or 8 or 9. So, again, there's some value there from replayability. Again, that's why I got that 1 score, but I feel really good with the epic score that it got, and really thank my friend a lot for suggesting this game to me. It was super cool. And again, it leaves this imprint of like BRAID now, that artwork. I'll always remember this cool vibe, everything. And I tell you, if you like dramatic stories, there's something that the storyline is kind of epic. But that's another thing. So anyways, y'all, well, hey, thanks for being here. Hopefully this helps. If you had thought about picking up BRAID yourself, hopefully this insight kind of gets to you. I'm really glad I played it. Like I said, we play new games to me every Friday until the end of the year. And so, this Friday, tomorrow we're going to play another game. We're going to live stream it. If you can be here, that'd be great. And, we'll talk to you later. See ya.